Hey everyone, it's Brano, and I'm making a video for my non-American viewers. If you get paid by Steam, you get paid in United States dollars, and in order for you to use that, you typically are going to have to transfer it into a different currency. And you can be completely screwed by exchange rates. And I'm not talking about the macro economy exchange rate, I'm talking about the exchange rates not matching the market and you losing a lot of money. So I'll show you what I mean. I got charged like 4% for exchanging American dollars to Australian dollars, and I am not happy about it. So in the case of like what normally happens, if you get paid $1,000 by Steam, and I really recommend that you set your payment cap to $1,000. So I get charged $10 to transfer, like for Steam to transfer it into my bank account. I don't know if there's any way to avoid it. Well, maybe I can shop around and get this reduced, but anyway, that gets sent into my bank. I use Commonwealth Bank Australia. Very convenient, but bullshit rates, and they do an exchange rate, which is basically 4% less than the market equivalent. So in the case of me, the market rate for Australian dollars to USD was 64, but they were charging it at 67, which ends up being about a 4% loss when you do the mathematics. So what ended up happening is that because of this fee and this 1,000 US dollars basically turned into the equivalent of $950.40. Which is pain. Like, it's in Australian dollars, so it's easier for me to use, but it's still just awful. Now, I could shop around at a better bank, which is what my first initial thought was going to be. I should go with HSBC instead, which specialize in international transfers, and I think this would be much better. You basically go through the same thing. Steam pays your account, it does an automatic conversion. They basically take 2% from the conversion. And so what you're left with is a 2.96% loss for $1,000. So you basically lose $30 from that. And that still kind of sucks. But I've devised a way to really reduce the amount of money that you need to pay to get your money exchanged. So it's a couple more steps, but basically you open up an American dollar account on your bank. You may have to go to a new bank to do this, but you want Steam to pay you in United States dollars and not have that automatically convert. So Steam's pay you, you've got to do the $10 fee, it's stored in American dollars, and then you need to do an international money transfer to a brokerage account that does fair exchanges. So Interactive Brokers does extraordinarily fair exchanges. These guys, I'm amazed at how fair they are, because I did my exchange and I got more money than I was expecting. So that's awesome. But you do have to pay a $2 fee for this. So this gets converted into Australian dollars, and then I can either keep it on the brokerage and buy stocks with it, or I can transfer it off into my bank account and use the money in Australia. So what this ends up turning into is about a 1.6% loss for $1,000. So I've lost $16. So this is in the low amounts, but what does this look like in the high amounts? Well, if we go with the HSBC example, the good lazy way, what ends up happening is this, because this is a substantially lower proportion of this, you end up getting about a 2.1% loss, so about $200 lost here through this exchange rate. Now, if you do this through the IBK method, this turns into 0.16% of a loss, and the higher this amount, the lower this loss is going to be, which is awesome. So in this case, once again, I only lose $16. So that's awesome. Now, in terms of other amounts that can be transferred, this is what I've done the comparison as. When I compare it to the HSBC, like if HSBC is my alternative, then with $1,000, I've saved $13. With $5,000, $93. With $10,000, $193. $20,000, $393. And $50,000, which is $993.80, and it's all assuming one international money transfer. Once again, you may need to do a couple. It's $4 a pop. So you may want to go back to your bank branch and say, hey, can I increase the amount I can do an international money transfer for online? And I will most likely allow it. I'm going to do that soon because I had to pay, like, for my last payment, I had to do 3 of these. And I'd like to only make it 1 just to make it more convenient as well. So in terms of how much I lost with my original payment, so my first payment was $29,560, and this automatically has the $10 taken out from it. So that's a loss, but I don't think I can lower that amount. But because I had this automatically converted with Commonwealth Bank, I lost $1,182.40 on this transfer. And like, it just sucks. I don't want that to happen to you. Learn from my mistake. Don't be lazy. Don't let this happen to you. I could be $1,000 richer if I had just not been lazy. Now, if I had used HSBC and done the lazy way, but the good lazy way, that would be $591.20. That's still a lot of money. And then with Interactive Brokers, I've managed to get that down to $22, which is, this is how much I would have if I had used Interactive Brokers instead. Way better deal. A significantly better deal had I just used IBK. Now, the one real downside of this is that this takes more effort. So if we go back here, this is Steam's payment. So this happens whether, basically when Steam wants to pay you. This international money transfer can take a couple days, and you may need to do it a couple times depending on how much you can do in IBT and your amount. So this can take 2 to 3 days. And then this exchange rate can take 1 to 2 days as well. Typically, it's going to take 24 hours. And then if you want to withdraw your money, it may take a couple of days as well for them to basically say, okay, you've held your money for long enough. We now allow you to withdraw it, but it could take 2 days for that to occur. So this process right here can take over a week in order to complete, but I think when you're dealing with large amounts of money, it is 100% worth it, because even $200 USD, when you basically cut that down into hours, like, you're going to be making a lot of money for the effort that you put in. So I would recommend that anyone who does not use USD as their main currency does this instead of letting the banks automatically transfer it. Obviously, if you are barely making that $1,000 threshold, I would just say, maybe do HSBC and make it easy on yourself. But if you're making a bit more, I think it's worth it. So that's it for me. Have a good one.